Newcastle United open talks for 60 million rated Joao Pedro. What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Hope everyone's had a great weekend. I certainly did. Sound Fender Saturday night. Unbelievable stuff. What a gig. What an atmosphere. What a place. What a stadium. Everything was just sensational. And last night he brought out Dan Burn. Mackems have been having meltdowns all weekend about it. Devastated that they've got anyone representing their city. Just as good as Sam Fender is. Local lad, doing great. Smashing America, smashing Australia, smashing the Toon. 3-night stay at St James's Park. Absolutely unbelievable. Great for the city. Great vibes all round. Absolutely loved it. Loved to see it. And yeah, Mackem's Sunderland fans having a meltdown, whinging, whining. Saying things to come, to be fair, because when they're back in the Premier League, they'll be doing that every week. But we're not going to waste any more time on those absolute muppets. So I hope you're all enjoying the sunny weather in Newcastle if you're there, or wherever you are from around the world. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe. Click the subscribe button, everyone, to the channel. Thanks very much. Hit a like, and as we go on this video, drop your thoughts below, because we'll dive into the Telegraph's article now. This is their exclusive. I'll tell you what, though, I'm sure Luke Edwards has just been putting the same article out for about a month now, just changing the words around. But he's saying here that we are going to open talks for Joao Pedro. I thought we were already in talks, to be fair, but now the formal talks now. I didn't even do the formal, yeah? What was it before? Do you know what I mean? So surely we're already in talks. Surely we're negotiating fee. He also confirms that Newcastle are interested in Elanga, which everyone's been saying. We are in talks with them, apparently. And also Ousmane Diomande, who I mentioned in the video last week, the Sporting Lisbon centre-back. Absolutely love to see him in black and white, so we'll get into that juicy stuff soon. But Edwards is talking about Pedro here. Newcastle fans are desperate for some transfer news. The window is back open today. I know, closed for a few days, pointless. But it's now open, 16th of June, all the way till September 1st. But as I've been saying all along, wouldn't expect Newcastle to make any signings until end of June, start of July. When that PSR window hits, we may take advantage of other clubs around that time, the June 30th deadline for PSR. And then also when we get a nice little 70-odd million cash fall at the end of June, July, after the 3-year cycle. That's when we are likely to be active. But we're putting things in order now. We're talking to clubs, talking to Forest about Elanga, talking to Brighton about Pedro. So let's just see what Edwards is saying. But again, with Edwards, right, in no disrespect to him, but I'm waiting for an Athletic here. I'm waiting for an Ornstein. I'm waiting for a Sky Sports. That's what I'm talking. That's when you know things are a bit better, a bit more official. For me, because with Edwards, he was the one that said we're going to sign Barella. And then it was Tonali. So is this the same with Joao Pedro? Is this like an absolute smokescreen? And then we'll go and sign Mitrovic from Saudi, bring him back. Newcastle United on the verge of opening talks with Brighton Hove Albion over the signing of Pedro, says Edwards here in the Telegraph. Newcastle have been encouraged to step up their pursuit of the Brazilian and will now look to negotiate a price with Brighton. The 22-year-old has emerged as Newcastle's priority target since missing out on Brentford winger Brian Mbeumo. It's hoped that a suitable deal can be thrashed out quickly. So just on that little segment there, what we're going to look over, there we're seeing that he's a priority target. Missed out on Mbeumo, so now they're seeing Joao Pedro as number one, more ahead of Guehi, Trafford, Elanga. He's stating that it's Joao Pedro that Eddie Howe wants more than anybody else, which is interesting, but this one is interesting. We'll dive into my thoughts a bit quicker than I thought I would. It is interesting because I was always thinking, are we really going to spend 50, 60 million on a Joao Pedro, on a number 9, technically? I know he's played deeper for Brighton as kind of like a false 9 or a 10, even as an 8, as a left winger. He can play everywhere, and that's why Howe will like him. And as I've said before, it might suggest a situational change in Newcastle, a formation mix-up going forward, where we might look to play Isak beside Pedro, we might look to rotate them both on the left wing, or we've said on the podcast, Joao Pedro will get minutes because of Champions League football. So it's an interesting move, especially if you're going to put all that money on him, because sure, you're not going to put all that money on him and have him sitting on the bench, is the fascinating thing here. But then again, you need that. You know, all the top clubs will have quality strikers, strength and depth. We haven't got that, especially if Wilson leaves, and even if he doesn't, the injury prone between him and Isak, to be fair, makes you really need that backup striker to be solid, and he's Premier League proven. Joao Pedro getting the stats and stuff soon, because I know there's a lot of question marks over this one. On social media, when we put it out there on the Magpie channel, we'll say, are you happy with this signing? Is he worth this much money? And people are generally saying no. You know, his stats aren't the best and all that sort of stuff. But we'll park that for now. Let's get back to the article. Brighton are likely wanting to maximise the fee with Newcastle as they value the player at around £60 million. However, there's growing confidence that a deal can be done. Sources have stressed there is still a lot of work to do before Newcastle complete their first transfer of the summer. I'm telling you, it'll still be a few weeks. The fact that Brighton have already added a striker this transfer window in the shape of the young Greek striker, Charalampos Kostoluas, would appear to improve Newcastle's chances of a successful pursuit of Joao Pedro. There's a fly in your room. Great. It's the problem this time of year. Nice, summer, bugs and that everywhere. Not in here, in the garden. Now there's flies in here. Fantastic. Tell you what, I wouldn't mind being a fly in the water training ground at the minute. Eddie Howe trying to get deals done. Actually, she's probably not even there, is he? You know, now it's happening. Director of football is fucking off this month. Yeah? Howe's probably on holiday. Deservedly so. Mitchell's been on holiday since he got here. Now it's happening. On the young Greek lad, obviously, you know, they've spent nearly £40 million on him. This is when people, I suppose this is true, right? When you say, oh, is Pedro worth 60 million? He's been playing in the Premier League a couple of seasons now. Decent goal scoring record, but more so his overall performance as a player and for the team. And then he's in the Brazil squad as well. And then you've got this Greek kid who's 18 years old, barely had a few chicken gyros, and he's getting £38 million straight in. He hasn't even touched a mythos yet, man. He can barely drink Greek beer. Bless him. That's the money that's getting banned about these days. 30, 40 million for a Greek kid. 18 years old. Not even being tested, really. I mean, I can't say anything about it because Brighton's scouting's been sensational, hasn't it? I mean, this kid will probably go to Chelsea for 120 million in a couple of years' time, the Greek lad. But speaking of Chelsea, of course, they're interested in Joao Pedro as well, so that could throw a spanner in the works and really drive the Brazilian's price up. We know Eddie Howe is a massive fan of Joao Pedro, nearly signed him a couple of years ago, then we turned our attention to Alexander Isak, and he's back with it again. He's doing it all window. I've said it in a couple of videos already. Ramsey tried to sign him, Elanga tried to sign him, Joao Pedro would try to sign him, Gahey would try to sign him, James Trafford would try to sign him. All the targets that are linked right now are all the ones we've tried to sign for years. So expect the foreign lad from Germany who we've never heard of before, never been linked to be signing in a few weeks' time. Pretty much covered the Pedro stuff. We'll get into the Elanga and Diamande stuff in a minute. But on Joao Pedro, 60 million for me is a lot, but then it's not when you look at the market and you look at them signing Greek kids for 38 million pounds. It is wild. I really like Joao Pedro. I think he's a quality player. I think he'll bring a lot to our team. He's an exciting one. He's versatile, and he's only going to grow the young Brazilian at the Toon under Howe. And I like the fact of the way he plays. His style matches us. He's a talent. I know a lot of his goals have been from the penalty spot in the Premier League, but I just think what he overall brings. Speaking of Brighton fans and content creators, they tell me how good he is. They say he's class. They say he'll be up there with the best. He's only going to improve, and he is a quality player. So I'll definitely back the move. I'm definitely in favour of it. 60 million is a bit steep, but Newcastle will probably agree on around 50 million with add-ons. Hopefully that will be fine. I mean, he did come from Watford for 30 million a couple of years ago and has shown he can do it at this level. And you get him in the system, you get him all that, I think he'll improve massively. And let's be real, Alexander Isak's stats weren't that great when he first signed. In fact, the season before we signed him, he'd only got 6 goals in La Liga. And now look at him. So Joao Pedro could come in, he scored 10 goals a season at Brighton, he scored 15 goals here and there, 20 goals in all competitions last year, I think. I know a lot of them are pens, still count though, still got to score the pens, a lot of people miss pens. So fair play to him, I like him. Decent player, with a huge ceiling, very exciting signing for me, I really like it, I'll back it all day long. And it's one that Newcastle are seen as a priority, according to the Telegraph. So let us know, are you backing the move of Joao Pedro? Do you think we will sign him? Is it a smokescreen? What's his value? Let us know in the chat. And on the Telegraph as well, you also touch on Nottingham Forest Anthony Elanga. Another long-standing target, and his asking price is £50 million. Forest have denied that there's been any direct contact with Newcastle at this stage, and they want to keep the winger. Apparently there's been satisfaction within Newcastle United Football Club that local reporters, journalists and media have not picked up on foreign targets. One of them being Sporting Lisbon's Ousmane Diamande, the centre-back from Ivory Coast, who has been regularly scouted by the Magpies. The 21-year-old has also been linked to guess who? Wait for it. Can you guess it? Chelsea. Of course you got it. Of course you did. And Crystal Palace, who would actually be seeing him as a Mark Gahey replacement if their skipper was to leave Selhurst Park this summer. To be fair to their words in the Telegraph, they do mention Sandro Tonali here a couple of years ago when Newcastle closely guarded it as a secret signing, a secret target, deliberately leaking alternative names in order to distract them from their ultimately successful attempt to land the midfielder. So are they just doing this again? Are they telling Edwards, are the sources in the club saying, oh, Joao Pedro, man, we're about open talks with him, like, you best get that written in the article, eh? Get that sorted out, and then out of nowhere, be some Spanish striker, or Italian, German, whoever. You know what I mean? No one who anyone's talking about. Victor Osimhen. Eh? He's available. Get him in. Let us know what you think. Is this supply once more from Newcastle? It's a funny one if it is. It's exciting because I would love to jump on a live with on a random one, 8 o'clock at night sometime, and be like, oh, Newcastle are signing such and such, or they've they did for such and such, and it's official, and it's out there on the likes of Athletic and Sky Sports, and it's the real deal, and it's not like a rumour or an exclusive from a journalist. It's legit. And I'm sure we'll get that at some point over this summer. I'm still very assured that we will make some big moves in the window. On to other news then, away from transfers, Newcastle have released their ticket scheme for next season, including the prices of the Champions League. Remember, in the new format, we will now have 4 home games and 4 away games. We're focusing on the pricing and the standard of seating and stuff here. In the UEFA Champions League, we will see tickets being sold for as high as £60. And that's in the standard seating and premium seating, your platinum clubs, your Borry 82, that is £70. So that sees a rise of £5 and £10 from the previous campaign in the Champions League 2 years ago. Mixed reaction to this one on social media, and a few of my mates have said, bloody hell, that's expensive. So if there's 2 games in October, that's going to cost us 120 quid on me direct debit, on top of me direct debit of 70 quid for me season ticket or whatever. So a few hundred quid in that month, pricey one. But I get it, you know, but I've got to say, I think it's alright pricing. Obviously, let us know what you think in the chat. But for me, you look at Aston Villa last year, they were charging up to £97 for a Champions League ticket at Villa Park in Birmingham. My God, that is an absolute disgrace. And obviously that caused backlash. They said that was so out of touch. I think this one is about right. Maybe it could be a little bit cheaper, but I don't think it's drastic. I don't think it's bad. Newcastle could have easily charged more. They could have charged about 80 odd quid, I think, and people would have paid it, definitely, or you would have seen it on the websites. The touts and everything would have got a hold of them as well. But I think, you know, it's okay. It could have been maybe a little bit cheaper, but they definitely could have charged a bit more as well. So I think it's fine. When you think of how much other clubs charge, it's not too bad. And like I say, you're getting 4 games now. Hopefully we get some big ties, because a lot of my mates were saying that, like, I didn't mind paying 70 quid if it's, you know, Real Madrid at home, but I didn't want to pay that much to watch a team from bloody Czech Republic or Ukraine or whatever. So I get it. We'll wait and see. On the FA Cup there as well, 30 quid again still, that's fine. Carabao, 20 quid at the start there, that's spot on that, to be fair. Carabao Cup defending season, that's what we want to do. Retain our trophy and get another one on the FA Cup this time. Champions League, they're not, bring it in. Let's wait and see. It's going to be exciting. We've got the prices there out for the tickets. Let us know what you think. I think they're really fair, the domestic ones, like the Carabao and the FA Cup, are bang on. Nice and cheap, that's what I'd like to see. In the Champions League, the demand's obviously going to be there. So I think it's alright. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on all the transfer rumours, on the ticket pricing, anything else. Cheers for watching, everyone. Subscribe to the channel and enjoy yourself.